We are live. I have no idea if it's showing up on YouTube or not. It doesn't look like it. On our end, it is. It's telling me we're live. I don't know. We're definitely live on the Sigs Inside Twitter account. So if you're on there, what's up? Hello. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, it's another weekend, another Indiana Hoosiers W. Feels like Groundhog's Day. So I'll start there. Brad,
Yeah,
how was your Saturday?
my Saturday was awesome. Watched a Huey's dub after day after Halloween. Friday, Halloween was sick. Fun day. Woke up hungover, watching the Hueys get the job done. Good start to the day. And then watched the Dodgers win the World Series, which is pretty sick. And then was up to let's just say I woke up at 3 p.m. today. All right, let's just say that. And yeah, I had a good night celebrating. And yeah, it was just a great Saturday. How was yours?
My Saturday was great. I thought I had lost my voice like screaming from the game, which I think I did. But also on top of that, it was like a heavy dose of like post nasal drip and whatever type of sinus thing I'm dealing with. So I've been battling whatever type of head cold that came of last weekend. So I sat next to a garbage can with a thing of tissues and just like watch the Indiana Hoosiers put belt to ass. So honestly, it was a pretty great Saturday. All things considered, like as good as it could have been considered. Where because I mean I couldn't go out for Halloween. Not that I was going to go do anything, but I was chalked for the weekend. So um, yeah, it was a pretty good Saturday, all things considered.
Yeah, it is. I think you nailed it around the head with that Groundhog Day thing. I think I was talking to you before this and basically saying like, what are like the Ohio State podcasts of the world like talk about? Like when you're beating everyone belt to ass and you know you're gonna do it before the game and then you do it after and like nothing's shocking you by any means. Like what do you talk about? It's really hard to fill time talking about a team that continues to put belt to ass to teams, will continue to put belt to ass to teams. It's almost like, man, could they lose so we can have like something critical to talk about?
Oh
Like,
wait, whoa!
I'm just
No,
saying. I'm just saying. Like I said, it's almost like that. It's like for the sake of like just like content, it'd be super helpful to like have some things to go on. But like no, just like another like classic Indiana game. Establish it's like the same thing I said last week. Establish the run. Play really good.
I think that's part of I kind of like what I wanted to talk about. I did want to talk a little bit about specifics because it wasn't exactly like that is the funny part about this football game was objectively it was not a very like aesthetically pleasing Indiana football experience. Like we're used to Mendoza coming out, throwing the rock around the field, like establishing the run early and kind of running away with these things. And Indiana's first offensive series of the game, Mendoza throws the pick and Maryland was jumping all over routes and it was something that we saw Indiana take advantage of.
All right.
The second offensive series of the game, everyone was getting all over Mikowski, and shout out to Mike Kadick for pointing this out as somebody who actually played the game. Because somebody like me is looking at whatever that play was and like who's Zen looking at there, and he's like, no, that's not his fault. That's the line call there. But the first two offensive series of the game, and they looked about as bad as you possibly could look. Surratt goes out with the hamstring tightness. Fisher didn't play. You know what I mean? So it's like Caden Turner's the guys are dropping like flies. So it wasn't exactly like a straightforward drubbing, and yet we're sitting here like 55-10, like Indiana, like pretty much exactly the same result that we've seen this team put out on the field over and over again, regardless of who's playing for them.
Yeah, what's frustrating is that it seems like injuries are really starting to pile up on the team, which I think is something we could talk about. Mendoza throwing the early pick. Still wasn't worried like at all, actually.
No, I'm not saying I was worried.
But yeah, it wasn't like, it's a Big Ten slate. Like these teams are going to come out firing against us. They're going to make some plays. And once again, that's what Maryland did. Like UCLA was super scrappy despite us winning by 50. Maryland was also super scrappy despite us winning by 45. That's a 95-point differential against two like bowl eligible quality teams back to back. That's some Bama shit right there. And
I had a question for you, Brad. Not to cut you off, but
yeah,
because a takeaway I had from this game was that Maryland's actually pretty good. Is that a wild takeaway to have?
no, they're very good. And the fact that they fired Mike Locksley today is pretty crazy.
They fired Mike Locksley today?
Yeah, they did. And the
Are you
fact that
serious?
yeah, they did. And I mean, I can fact check myself. I might have gotten duped.
No, I haven't looked. I gotta be honest. I haven't really looked today, so that very well could have happened. That'd be kind of shocking to say the least.
Yeah, but I swear I saw like the ESPN. Yeah, Rob Reinhart reported. Yeah, it just seems like Indiana's success has broken a lot of brains in the college football landscape.
No, it was false. It was false.
We're gonna see the craziest. Even then, like the fact that I believed it. I mean, I don't agree with it, but like the fact that I believe it, and it's like, I mean, there's a chance he doesn't make. We'll see. Maryland is good. Malik Washington, very good. Definitely had his worst game of the year against us, which figures, right? Not easy to play against us. It's just the things this team does, like 37 rushing yards allowed, 5 takeaways on the defensive side of the ball, 300 4,000 yards on the ground, like Alberto with a 53-yard run.
Dude, Alberto
Kobe Martin got his 2 tuds. Like
first.
that's becoming like a lock. Like Kobe Martin 2 tutties. Like that's becoming a really like smart play moving forward. And yeah, dealing with Maryland, they're a good team, and it's just they just were 45 points better. Sorry about it. It's hard to find things to talk about. So it's like, should we start on the offense or the defense?
I actually wanted to keep it a little more high level with you because I wasn't expecting the Loxley firing thing, but he had a lot of interesting comments going into this weekend, and a lot of the Indiana fans were kind of jumping all over him. But I didn't really have a problem with what he said about Roman Hemby or Kellen Wyatt, essentially saying he would have had to overpay those guys to stay versus spend that money elsewhere. What do you think of his comments, his philosophy, the way he's looking at building Maryland versus like because you have to look at it realistically. Like Maryland doesn't have the budget Indiana does for football. They just don't. He can't spend the money Indiana does. So the way he has to allocate capital is going to be different than the way that the top X percent of spenders in the league are going to be able to do it. So like to your point, like that's a team with a lot of young talent. How do you feel about Loxley's philosophy?
I mean, if they're going about it the right way. Like they're doing really well in the high school recruiting game. That's going to take a lot longer to build sustained success as opposed to hitting on transfer portal guys, which is what Indiana's been able to do. Really lightning in a bottle, proven system. Like with these other schools and these ADs probably don't understand is that you're not going to hire. You're not going to find. You're just not going to do it. It's not going to happen. He's ours. You might be able to find a guy that's able to get you to 10 wins and get to the playoff every 4 years or so. But unless you're Ohio State, it's really not, or Oregon, at least from a Big Ten standpoint, it's really not going to be like that. It seems like those are the 3 kings right now, and that 4th Big Ten team is really out in the open year in and year out, and that's really your only real shot to break in, especially I wouldn't even have said this if James Franklin didn't get fired. Like if James Franklin was still at Penn State, I'm like, yeah, Penn State's probably going to be back in the playoff next year with Brunkmeyer, and they'll figure it out. But like the fact that they let him go, it's like, all right, Penn State's no longer like a real threat.
You can count them as not a threat because of how far back they're going to have to start.
Yeah, in Michigan, no more Jim Harbaugh. Like I was saying weeks prior when we do those run throughs, like Michigan's Michigan, but it's not Jim Harbaugh Michigan. They're going to be, they're going to get their 8 wins every year, but are they going to be that 10-win team every year? No, they're not. And Sharon Moore's shown that 5-point win over Purdue. like in a high level Big Ten, yeah, he's going about it the right way. And you give him some time, give him 3 years, like wait till all these young freshmen, be able to retain Malik Washington, hopefully. Like by the time Malik Washington's a junior, you should be having some playoff aspirations. Ideally, would be the timeline for Maryland, and even if they don't make it, like how many times in the show have I said there's only one winner, right? It's like I think people forget that a lot in sports, and obviously it's kind of like loser talk, I guess, in a sense, but it's like, I mean, there's so much money going around where it's like in the sport where it makes sense to have all these lofty expectations for your head coach, because you want a piece of that pie and you're starting to feel a little left out. But the reality is just not, you can get there with sustainability rather than trying to catch lightning in a bottle, which I think a lot of schools are trying to do, as opposed to just having a core like group that develops over the course of 4 years and maybe breaks through into a playoff.
Well, I'll ask you this then to kind of piggyback off of that, because we had Hugh Freeze fired this morning or today, canceled his 1:00 golf event or whatever. But late last week, we got Matt Rule's extension from Nebraska. So like basically making your point is like if Nebraska is looking around at the current landscape. Go ahead.
Smart by Nebraska. They're learning from their own mistakes. Not saying they were going to fire Matt Rule, but like the fact that they're like, we can't let this guy go. Like this is our guy. Smart, right? That's exactly how you should do it. And don't be surprised to see Nebraska in the playoff next year with Raiola and all that young talent that they got going on. Raiola looks good. What was the result of that Nebraska game yesterday?
They lost.
Yeah. USC's good though.
USC is good.
There can only be one winner.
USC is a little bit older.
USC could sneak into the playoff. Their path is there. They went out. I think UCLA is going to beat them later this year. But
I was going to say, if they don't trip up and Ohio State loses to Michigan, which has been their trend for the last couple of years, then USC is that. If everyone ends with one loss, then USC is the team that ends up getting into the Big Ten championship.
Really?
Yeah.
So they control their own destiny in the Big Ten.
In a sense. If they
but like the 10-2 loss in the Big Ten title game, like who knows if they make the playoff? We'll see. Haven't seen that result before in the 12 team, but I mean, Miami losing yesterday gives them a little, that opens up a spot where it feels like kind of the locks in the playoff right now are Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and then the SEC, Georgia, Bama, Ole Miss, A&M. Those 7 seem like they're pretty well in it. And then obviously you have Notre Dame's going to win out. They're going to be in.
What do you think? All right, I want to talk about the college football playoff ranking, but I don't want to get too far away from this Indiana Maryland game because I know I barely want to, like, we won't get back to it. So I want to speed run. I want to start with the defense because I thought they were just dominant. Then offense, but essentially just like anything stick out to you surprise wise. Anybody you want to shout out, or and then just like helmet sticker if you got it.
I think just kind of an overarching thing. We'll talk about it when we get to the offense too. But on the defense, like guys were filling in roles and they stepped up. That's a theme with this team. That's always a good sign with a sustainable program. We haven't seen that really too much from Indiana because they've been so healthy. Shout out Derek Owings throughout the Cignetti era so far. This is really the first time where it's not just like, yeah, we had the Drew Evans injury last year, out for the year, Kidwell, but like that was it last year. Everyone else was healthy all year. And this year it seems like we're a little banged up. You got Surratt, Fisher, Kamara seems to have some issues. Everyone just seems to have a lot more licks and bumps and bruises than they did at this point last year. And they're figuring out. I want to give a shout out to Caden Turner with that pick. It's a Tom.
That was awesome.
Guy came out. I think people were calling him a walk-on on Twitter. Like, no, that guy's not a walk-on. He's a scholarship guy.
He's not a walk-on.
Mom Allen.
Great TikTok account.
Yeah, I don't have TikTok, so I wouldn't know. But fantastic for him to be able to like step up and make a big play like that. Yeah, it's an awesome theme from this like culture and this system that Indiana continues to build up. And for that, I'm giving it a helmet sticker, obviously. Devon Boykin had another fantastic game. He seems to be, as teams are trying to find ways to expose them, it feels like he's the one getting a little more tested, since it's like, where else do you go? So he's been making a lot of noise. I'm giving him a helmet sticker. Louis Moore got another helmet sticker. I mean, that
dude, he looked like Ed Reed flying across, floating through the air.
That's like textbook roaming free safety interception right there. Beautiful stuff all around. Those three are getting my shout outs. I mean, obviously everyone like played fantastic. 37 rushing yards allowed, 5 turnovers. Just an absolute just belt to ass type play. And the only reason why they scored was just another big play that was given up by the defense because, Jones fell over and then another guy slipped toward the end. I didn't quite see who it was.
Yes, I think Farrell got clipped by the receiver coming back. It looked like he from the initial TV copy first look, it did not look good at all. It looked like he just like collapsed on his own, but no, he got clipped by somebody from Maryland coming back. But yeah, you're right. Like it was coverage bust, and that was really it. Fat Boy's in the chat, because shout out to Fat Boy, of course he is. He said Moore and Boykin were awesome, 100%. I want to shout out Isaiah Jones too. He was the green dot guy. He was the lead communicator with Fisher not on the field. Obviously, defense communicated really well. Didn't miss a beat. When you have somebody like Aiden Fisher who doesn't play and the defense still produces the same way, like, shout out to, first of all, everybody who played and stepped up. But yeah, Bones was phenomenal. And then Byron Baldwin Jr., a homecoming for him, as well as like a homecoming for a lot of people on this Indiana team. A lot of those JMU guys were like from the Virginia area. I'm sure a lot of those guys had dreams at one point of playing for Maryland or were recruited by Maryland, and so you could tell there was like, it was personal for a lot of those guys. And seeing Jay Walk in the crowd too was awesome. Jalen Walker was there.
Love that.
But yeah, I thought besides the safeties, I thought Jones was awesome. But yeah, the entire defensive line, like Landino working his ass off to stay outside uncontained. Like Tyreek Tucker at one point, ball was snapped and he punched the guard, and the guard, like, it was like 2-3 steps back. He was in the backfield before the play even started. Like that dude's so strong. It is crazy. Just like picking out individual guys to watch on a per play basis on this Indiana defense is just like really fun to do, because all those dudes are just working so hard to do their job, and it's really fun. And like Fat Boy's pointing out, like that was almost like a home game for Indiana. Like I didn't realize it was the last time Indiana had been to Maryland, but I was there last time Indiana played Maryland. They don't have much of a home crowd. Like I was pretty surprised when people were saying it was going to be a sellout, and I am not surprised that it was about 75% Indiana fans, and the Maryland fans really didn't show up. That funniest tweet I saw, Brad, was from the Indiana or the Maryland Barstool account or whatever. It was like tailgate beers wearing off, and we're realizing we're playing Indiana.
That's crazy to like even think about as like a reality, that they like think of us like that. It's crazy. It only less than 2 years. Crazy. Way ahead of schedule. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Bones Jones. One thing I didn't realize, obviously, like I see all the press conferences. One thing I want to like point out is like, did you see that guy's neck? Him just standing back there, like, it's like his neck. Like
Isaiah Jones?
How thick it is. It's insane. That dude's got some crazy neck. Pause. His neck is like one of the thickest necks I've ever seen, ever.
Oh, he's got to have that. He's got to have that thing, the thing that Stu, your roommate, has for like the neck thing.
I don't know what you're talking.
You don't have to.
Well, yeah,
I mean, you can put something like on your.
They do the necklace.
There's like a.
I know what you're talking about.
Sound even worse. You can attach like a free weight to it, and then it's like
ripping 2 plates.
Yeah,
with that fucking neck. That thing is crazy. That's an NFL neck if I've ever seen one. Master of the eye test right here.
Between that and my tweets about Kalon Black, nobody's going to be able to take us seriously.
Professional neck from Isaiah Jones. And yeah, he's yeah, he can leave with the helmet all day. He'll be just fine. He'll be just fine. No worries there. But yeah, just see him in the press conference. I was just like, holy neck. That is one of the meatiest necks I've ever seen. And then yeah, I've seen like guys like just like last week, like seeing young guys come in. Jaja Boyd jumped up to like top 3 tackler yesterday, sneaky. And then
Jaja Boyd.
Yeah, Byron Baldwin, and then one of my hidden gems, Garrett Reese, got a turnover yesterday. Number 3.
They tried to call a penalty on that. That was bullshit.
Yeah,
they tried to get our boy Brad.
If Sig runs the table, does Indiana go down as an all-time great team? Well, Keyser was telling me that we're right now on track to match, potentially exceed the point differential of the LSU team in 2019, which is by a majority of college football pundits considered the greatest college football team of all time. So if we're able to exceed that number, there's definitely an argument to be made.
I'll sprinkle a little bit more rat poison for you, Brad. According to ESPN's FPI, at this very moment, the Indiana Hoosiers are the odds-on favorite to win the national championship.
That's insane. I thought like are they tied? Are they?
No, it's by 1 percentage point.
Oh, you're talking like the FPI. Okay.
Yeah, ESPN FPI. They're number 2. They're number 2 in terms of odds on FanDuel. I looked today.
All right, yeah, they're 26% chance on FPI. Ohio State's at 25.
Insane.
Seems like the analytics are pushing toward. We're probably going to see Ohio State twice. So it's like, and I'm going to call you out because this is actually a good time to do it. Keyser drunkenly at when we were in Bloomington was asking me, what would you rather do, win the Big Ten or win the national title? And I said
no. I said if you could only have one, if you only got one, which one would you rather have?
Yeah. It's the easiest answer of all time. I'm taking the national title every fucking time.
I said, what was my answer? What was my answer?
You said Big Ten.
No, I said I would need a drink and a really long time to think about it.
No, you said Big Ten. But because you already had a drink in a really long time at that point. So I'm going with Big Ten title at that.
My argument was, would I rather beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship or win the national championship?
Which will probably be against Ohio State anyways. It's funny because we're going to have to play them twice, which is so funny. John, not bad for a bunch of Group of 5 All-Stars. That's what's different about this team. This team isn't a bunch of Group of 5 All-Stars. That was last year's team. This year's team has Devon Boykin, NC Stater, Lou Moore, Ole Miss, Holden Stays, who can't even find the field, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Nowakowski's from Wisconsin. I mean, these guys, and Mikowski's Ohio State, Khalil Benson, Indiana, Colorado, Oregon commit, Khalil Benson, Coogan, Notre Dame. Who else am I missing? We're just going to go down.
Hemby, Black, like those dudes were like Hemby's Maryland. Black at one point was
Cal. Mendoza's from Cal. He's not some MAC player of the year. Like, no, this guy's a power forward recruit. He's
barely.
It's a different, yeah, barely. I mean, they flipped him from Yale, so probably not the craziest sell from Cal. But yeah, Johnny Brady, being from Cal as well. It's just fun to kind of see this team take that second year leap and put themselves into the stratosphere of the Ohio State, the A&Ms, the Georgias, the Bamas.
Well, then and then like Landino was a Signetti recruit, like Jaja Boyd Signetti recruit, Byron Baldwin Jr. Signetti recruit, right? Like these dudes are starting to get on the field, like this. And all those dudes are super. Like, whose evaluation process do you trust? Do you trust 24/7s and On3s and ESPNs, or do you trust Kurt Signetti and Bryant Haynes and Pat Kuntz and Buda Williams and like Rod Ojong and Ola Adams and all those dudes and Grant Kane and Mike Shanahan, John Miller and those guys? Like, who do you trust more? Like, I trust the guys in our room. And so, like, I know all of those guys are dogs. There was a Sean Payton quote today, Brad, about Pat Bryant blocking in the slot, and he said something like, if a dog doesn't bark when it's a puppy, like it's never gonna bark or something like that, or doesn't bite. Like what if a dog doesn't bite, is a puppy. It's never gonna bite. And you watch these Indiana freshmen play, and they're all just dogs. And they're young, right? And they're freshmen. Like Byron Baldwin Jr. overran a play the other day. Like it happens, right? But more times than not, they're gonna put their head in the right spot, and those dudes can all play football. It's a lot of fun.
If Sig brought in 10 guys from JUCO, I wouldn't question it. He could do whatever he wants when it comes to roster construction. This is something I was saying like before the success even happened. Like this idea of his roster construction, like I noticed it within the first year that they were able to kind of put something together, at least a 1 deep that was very strong, and then seeing it progress to a very strong 2 deep going into the year where I kept on saying loaded all off season and no one listened until it was too late. And we
have a lot of good clips,
like
Brad.
eight ducks, like, you know, when they go duck hunting and you got like that string of ducks kind of hanging off like a line, right? And you're holding it. It was too late before everyone realized that we were right the whole time and everyone else was wrong, which is great. Great to hear.
You go back 5 months, Brad, and you listen to all our videos, and it's like, you're too low on the Hoosiers. Your expectations are wrong. This person's wrong. We can do like recalibrate your thoughts. Like none of this is a surprise to at least the two or anybody who's been paying attention to this football team. Like that's why it was so easy to like point at, I guess, essentially non-believers and be like, you guys literally just aren't paying attention, because anybody who was paying attention was coming away with the same conclusion that like there was talent up and down this roster and that they're going to be one of the best coached teams in the country regardless of who's playing. And when you combine those two things, you're going to get a successful football team.
Yeah, give Cignetti this Maryland roster, they're guaranteed 9 wins. That's the scary part about what Indiana football has going on. And
that's why they needed to extend him.
Give Cignetti most of the Big Ten rosters. He's going to win 8 games. Maybe all of them, honestly. Maybe every single Big Ten roster he could probably win 8 games with, regardless of schedule.
I honestly believe that.
Dude, give him that USC roster. Imagine how good that fucking team would be. Holy shit.
Yeah,
not discounting our players, but like think about how many.
No, but you're right. Like that's why they needed to extend him, though, because if you put this staff and this philosophy of football in a ready-made engine, like they're gonna win football. It wasn't a matter of like could he win at Penn State. It's like, of course he could fucking win at Penn State. What kind of question is that? Like the dude's gonna win football games regardless of where he is. It's a matter of where he is, and the fact that his feet are in Bloomington, Indiana, and that staff is in Bloomington is like, thank God.
But homeboy won at IU, Pennsylvania, and he won at Elon. Penn State's not. I'm pretty sure.
Does it get harder to win when you get more money? You know what I mean?
We'll take a stab at it. I think he could win at Penn State. I think he could win at James Madison, where he makes a jump from literally a lower level to a higher level, and like their record improves going to that next level because he has access to better players because they moved up a level. It's crazy, like his ability to win and build a system and
and develop an offense too. Let's talk about this offense, Brad, because this run game was fucking phenomenal. Kalon Black was the obviously leader in the clubhouse. Roman Hemby, I thought and I really want to get your take on this, because I feel like there's definitely a little bit of this, and to obviously a lesser extent in high school football when kids transfer to different high schools and things like that. Like Maryland was extra fired up every time Hemby touched the ball. They were kicking it to him on purpose. It felt like they wanted to get a couple hits on him every time, like more so than like normal. Was that the sense you got watching the game? Did you think that was they had more of an emphasis on, hitting Hemby, or what was your takeaway from kind of how Maryland handled that?
I honestly didn't really notice that too much. I saw a lot of like Maryland players kind of dapping him up after a run, like giving helmet taps. That's what I noticed. It was almost
he was laying the boom too.
Yeah, it was almost like I don't know. I was thinking it was just all in good fun and yeah, it was. I didn't really notice that too much, to be honest. Good question though. Fat Boy saying that kicker doesn't kick the ball to the end zone on regular, not a strong leg. Well, it's Quinn Warren. Frankie, first game of the UCLA game, like
No,
blew
he's
out his
talking about
knee.
I think he's talking about the Maryland kicker
Oh, fair.
instead of saying like they were targeting him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What'd you see from the offense this game, Brad? Master of the eye test.
All right, we're going to just another, like, statistically wise, not a great day for the Heisman Mendoza campaign, but I think I sent a tweet yesterday that was like, I don't think Mendoza cares about the high. I think he's going to get that New York invite regardless. But, you know, saying putting up 380 and then he puts up 200, like, it's a stat award. Like, it just is.
Yeah.
Like, when you're going to go blind resume at the end of it, he didn't have those 4 touchdowns that you kind of needed him to have. He only had the 2 today, so it puts him at 26 total.
No, he had 3. He had 3 total. He had the rushing touchdown.
Yeah, but he only had 1 passing.
Was it only the 1 passing?
Yeah. Because Alberto had the other passing touchdown. So we had 4 rushing, 2 passing, and a fumble recovery. 7 touchdowns, 2 field goals. But yeah, with Surratt getting injured, obviously O-line played fantastic, just 340 yards on the ground plus.
I think it was 360.
I think I said 4,000 earlier. I'm gonna stat correct myself. It's 380 something about a fucking a 367. This is so funny. 367 rushing yards to Maryland's 37. Like, that's just a win. Right there. Yeah, it's just outgained them on the ground 330 yards. Yeah, not a bad strategy. Mendoza looked fine, threw that early pick, but really got it going after those first 2 drives. He was really booming it and just moving the ball. No Elijah Surratt. Omar Cooper stepped up, looked like the NFL player that we all saw, hit that double move for
he dusted that poor kid. Oh my god.
That was nasty. He is something special. And he had that stiff arm too earlier in the game. That thing was ridiculous.
The play where he like shook 2 guys and like looked like he was going out of bounds, and yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, that stiff arm was insane. And then Kobe Martin coming in, getting his 2 tutties. Or I think he only got his 1.
He looked great though, dude. Every time he touches the football, it looks like he's gonna do something with it. Like, all those dudes run so hard.
Yeah, Kobe Martin. People are like worried that like these guys are gonna like leave.
Yeah, right.
For like I saw some guy was like, pay Kobe Martin whatever he wants. He's RB1 material, which is like true, but it's like I think Kobe Martin's smart enough to know that like if I stick around, I'm gonna get my more money. League me. I'm in the system. So, like, yeah, he's going to get his money's worth, but unless he's getting the starting job next year, which Lee Beebe's still around, so he's probably going to get, you know, the same amount that Hemby and Black are making this year. It's not like we're going to have to, like, pay him more. I think we have the system. Everything's in place. Like I said, I don't have any insight in terms of how they're paying players and how they allocate that money. But it seems the way they're doing it and the way they construct their roster and how they're able to be so loaded and so deep while bringing in strong freshman classes makes me think that they're going to be the gold standard of money allocation and roster construction. Seems like they're very ahead of the curve, not going all in on one certain player, which leaves a lot of holes elsewhere, which you see at a few schools such as Michigan, Texas, all these big bags being sent to top quarterbacks. Those schools are all struggling this year. You didn't hear about a Julian Sand bag. Ohio State's still balling. You don't even hear much about it. I'm sure Jeremiah Smith's getting his money. I'm sure a lot of that's coming from outside of Ohio State, so he's fine.
There's a video of him showing his bank account to Brandon Marshall, and Brandon Marshall's
that's crazy. But like,
those dudes are fine. Those guys aren't.
The point being, like, I'm not too worried about it. Fantastic game. All 4 running backs, 80+ rushing yards. Sick.
All 3.
Yeah, Mendoza had a 53-yard rush. I was just worried about him getting hurt toward the end there when he got like pile drived. But yeah, just a fantastic day of guys stepping up. And yeah, I mentioned Kane Fisher. Charlie Becker comes in, gets a big 50-yard gain. That was the only catch of the day. Would have liked to see a little bit more production from him, but that's another guy who stepped up with injuries to a star player and made a big play. Like that, taking a 7-yard hitch, 50 yards is good. That's
Yeah,
good.
The Charlie Becker fan club got to stand up, stretch their legs a little bit, which is awesome.
Dude, he's a slippery player, man. He should have been tackled 10 yards earlier too. So he was getting he made a really good play. And yeah, offense looked as normal. Like, to be honest, it wasn't like I wouldn't say Fernando struggled. Like 14 for 21, 200 yards, one tutty of pick. You're gonna be like, oh man, Mendoza, he probably looked a little shaky. It was like, no, it was really those first two drives, and it was like business as usual.
Yeah, we ran the ball for 400 yards. Like, our run game is so good, and we're so dominant that he doesn't play fourth quarters, and he doesn't have to throw the ball. It's actually kind of insane. I want to shout out Pat Coogan too. I don't think that guy has ever run into the end zone untouched before.
Huh?
I don't know if Pat Coogan has ever got to like snap the ball and then run into the end zone and not touch anybody on the way there, but
yeah, the QB draw was awesome. I got to explain it to my girlfriend in terms of why that worked. So I was like, yeah, they're gonna motion the running back out. They're gonna see the one linebacker that's in the box, motion out with them because it's man. And now they're in 5 wide. And now Mendoza already knows before the snap that he's gonna score a touchdown because it's 5-on-4 in the box, and he's just gonna run right up the middle for a touchdown. And she said, I don't think I'll ever be able to recognize that in real time. Like, it's okay. You don't need to. It's fine.
Master the eye test.
But, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm here. Don't worry. But yeah, no, it was a really cool play to see. And yeah, just good old Shanahan, just calling the right plays at the right time. Great in film study, finding these things and figuring out what they do. Like, a lot of teams do go man in the red zone. That's how I would coach a defense. Zone in the red zone just doesn't work. You know, you have a lot of sideline as your friend type. You only have 30 yards to work with as an offense once you're in the red zone. So, you know, going man is always the best way to go, and just taking advantage of that with QB draws, screens, always very smart with Shanahan and how they do things, and their red zone execution is back up to par. Remember, I was calling that out in the Old Dominion game, and it's like, you know, one thing I forget personally is that, like, I want us to come out week 1 with a boom, but it's like these week 1 games are glorified scrimmages. They really are. Like, you can't judge Ohio State or Texas off that for week 1 game. You shouldn't really judge Bama too hard for it, even though there is a sense, like, from a like committee perspective, like I still think those games should hold equal amount of weight to the other games. But like from an eye test perspective, like I'm not going to hold that game harsh against them compared to like the week 2 game or a week 3 game. Because week 1, it's like there's no, there's no scrimmage. There's no exhibition games like they're doing in college basketball. Like, it's like, oh shit, it's week 1. We're here. Like, all right, we're going full speed now against someone else. It takes a little bit of getting used to. So, glad seeing everything's like better than what it was last year, and they just keep stacking days, stacking weeks, stacking months, stacking years, and we're eventually going to get to Dodger dynasty level is my hope in terms of like what I'm seeing going on here, because there's a lot of good signs. Like, I'm going to compare Indiana football to the Dodgers right now in the sense like it all starts from the top, right? Like, Dodgers new ownership 2013, they, you know, after divorce, and they were already like a competitive franchise at that point, like for the last 5 years after trading for Manny Ramirez, and they had Matt Kemp and Russell Martin, all those guys. But what really changed is that starting in 2013 with their new ownership, they really focused on investing in the farm system, and that resulted in producing, you know, key contributors over the years: Chris Taylor, Max Muncy, Jock Peterson, Cody Bellinger, and it's still top 5 in Major League Baseball today. Probably 1 if we're being honest. Like, if you're gonna like, because obviously it's objective, so they like rank Dodgers like 3 or 4, but like just based on past results, you should know they're the best farm. If you just look at most,
I'm letting the Dodgers stuff go because they literally won the World Series.
I'm
less than
talking my
24
shit right
hours
now.
ago.
But like, you look at pick an MLB roster, I promise you, there's at least one NFL Dodger farm guy on the team.
Yeah, I mean the Dodgers are just a collection of ex-Red Sox, if we're being completely honest.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. That's crazy. But like it all starts from the top and like investing.
No, but you're right. It does.
Development,
Organizationally, like you're talking like your Pam Litton is going to be your Scott Dawson connection is going to be like your new ownership group, and the desire to change the way that they focus on the farm system is the same way that Indiana changed the way they were going to spend on football. And there's a lot of parallels. And you look at the beginning of those Dodger teams, like the first year maybe it was like looked a little bit different, but the second year, third year, fourth year, like obviously when you have a good system and you can run it over and over again, like
and baseball, like building sustainable baseball success takes a lot longer than building football success, which is crazy because it does take a while in football. Whereas like basketball, you just need to pick up Kevin Durant and you'll be good. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just need to get that guy and you're like, you'll be a lot better. That's like 10 wins right there. But like, it's amazing, like kind of what Indiana's been able to do, and to be able to kind of just witness it live. It's good. It's funny because we were worried about filling time, and we've kind of just talked about Indiana philosophically. And it's like we didn't talk much about the Maryland game today, which is kind of fun.
Well, when we hopped on, you were like, and I was like, I need like 15 minutes to figure out what we're gonna talk about. And you're like, what do you mean? We're just talking about the game. And I was like, can't just talk about the game. They fucking clobbered.
Yeah, but I was like, let's shoot the shit. You know, let's just fucking.
Well, we didn't even. There was a couple more, like a couple house cleaning things that I didn't think should wait until Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm still here
though. The thing that we were. Well, actually, I'll go here first. D'Angelo Pons was on Nightcap. If you know Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson. That show's phenomenal. That's like they do it every night or whenever they do. But seeing D'Angelo on Nightcap with those guys was awesome. Really cool spot for him. And
I'm glad he's getting that shine. You know, I'm just surprised.
Spoke super confidently, and it was music to Indiana fans' ears if you're listening to that kid speak. So
I just love the idea that Chad Johnson knows who D'Angelo Pons is. I think
they're like they knew exactly who he was because they had a serious amount of respect for the fact that he won the 100 in track in Florida.
Oh yeah, they
the 200.
They're going deep cuts on him.
Yeah, so they're and you know Ocho's a Miami guy, and so like that's. Like he was calling it the crib. Like him and D'Angelo were calling like Miami the crib. Like I didn't even know what the hell like that. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like that, you know. So it's like that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Ocho may be a Miami guy, but he's a West Coaster in the fact that he's an Oregon State Beaver, baby. Pac-12 Member of the Week, Chad Johnson at Oregon State. Boom. So many good players from that conference.
But yeah, definitely go check out D'Lo. It was a great appearance, and seeing him next to those two guys specifically was awesome.
Yeah, but just like. You know, it's getting repetitive. Like, it's fun that we'll be able to preview Penn State because, like, that's a little more. I don't know if we're going to blow them out by 50 this week. So it's going to be a little bit of a different preview going into it on Tuesday. And
it's a trap game for sure.
Yeah, it could definitely feel trappy. They're coming off Ohio State. So they have a taste of that level of play already, which is going to make it really scary for us. And they could make it interesting. Like, reminds me a lot of, like, Nebraska coming off Indiana and going to Ohio State and giving them a run for their money. Like, it's going to be kind of like that.
Well, we have to. I mean, going to Penn State, regardless of how Penn State is as a football team, is always a tall task. So I definitely don't want to step on Tuesday's show, but no, like it's guard up for this week. Like that's as hard of an environment to play in as you're going to find. There's going to be 100,000 people there that don't want you to win that football game. So
yeah,
their fans are still going to show up. I promise you that. It's not going to look like Maryland. Brad, you want to know what else is scary? Vegas had Indiana 8.5 at plus 114, pretty much up until the season started. That cashed yesterday. So shout out to anybody like me who took Indiana plus 8.5. What a gift!
Love it.
Plus 114, Brad. Plus money. Isn't that insane? And then I wanted to end here because on Tuesday we decided as like right before we went live that because the college football playoff ranking show also goes live on Tuesday at 8 o'clock, that we're just going to go live on our normal slot on Tuesday, and we'll be live simultaneously, and we'll see where Indiana gets placed.
I think
Presumably,
there's a really good chance that Indiana ends up 1 because they have the best.
They have the resume.
So yeah, we could be seeing some crazy things. And it'll be funny to see them, like the 8 people in the coaches pool came out. There's still 2. It'd be really funny. And honestly, kudos to the CFP committee if they do this, putting Indiana 1 because they do have the better resume than Ohio State at this point. Ohio State's best win is who? Texas? Week 1?
Probably
By
Washington.
7? By 7 at home? We went to Oregon and won by 10 on the road. And beat Illinois, who's probably going to be in that CFP ranking as well, by 70. And then and beat Iowa on the road. And beat Maryland and UCLA and Michigan State and beat all the Old Dominion. And we kept on talking. Something funny happened in the schedule as well. Like we've been joking about ODU and Kennesaw State and they're like slight successes this year. And those 2 teams are probably going bowling, which is really exciting. But another thing that happened was Indiana State was able to pull off a massive upset over FCS power South Dakota State over the weekend. If you follow any FCS ball, you know
Shout out to the Sycamores.
Is one of those big powers. So getting a huge win over the Jackrabbits, unbelievable. Shout out Coach Mallory for that win. Probably one of the biggest wins in program history in the past like 5 years or so. So shout out Coach for that one.
Absolutely. Yeah, massive win. That is hilarious. I didn't even think about it because, like, we've been beating the ODU drum, obviously, half as a joke, right? And half as, like, Indiana needed it until they beat Iowa and beat Oregon. And all of a sudden, these wins you give proper weight to these wins. And all of a sudden, we don't have to battle so much for, like, what the non-con looked like. But, yeah, that is it. Like, Indiana's schedule, when it's all said and done, is going to, like, people are going to look back and be like, why the hell was everybody freaking out about this? And it's just because Indiana is the new kid on the block, like taking somebody's spot. People still can't understand it. But so college football playoff rankings drop on Tuesday. You just said you expect Indiana to be 1. Or you said you see an argument for them to be 1. What does your top 12 look like? What does that playoff field look like on Tuesday night when we talk next?
Want me to do like a live?
Yeah, I want like off the dome, based completely off of vibes. Like, what is Brad Loomis's top 12 at this point? And I feel like that's a good spot for us to end tonight, and then we can pick back up on Tuesday when the.
Perfect. Yeah, but I think I just write it down real quick. All right, so 1, I'm going to Indiana. 2, I'm going Ohio State. Fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 3, I'm going Texas A&M. There's an argument to be made that Texas A&M should be 2 here. They have really solid wins over Notre Dame, LSU. That's really it. So it's like it's very similar to Ohio State's resume at this point. A&M's going to run the table. They got Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, and Texas left. They're probably going to go undefeated into that big SEC title game. 4, I'm going Alabama. They've looked really good. They've beaten a lot of very strong teams. They're probably the best one-loss team in the country right now. 5, I'm going to go Oregon. 6,
So
Georgia.
You think Oregon goes into? Well, I guess. Oh, you're right. So I guess never mind. It doesn't matter. Next weekend's results don't matter. So my question:
Who's the highest ranked ACC team right now? Virginia.
It's probably. I mean, probably still Miami.
Georgia Tech. No, those
Miami
3
lost.
teams
Georgia Tech lost.
Miami
Virginia.
Hold on, I need to do a resume comparison for. Hold on. I know exactly actually where I'm going to go now. Hold on.
I don't know if you could hear Linus next to me, just taking all the air in the room.
That's crazy.
All right, so Indiana 1, Ohio State 2, A&M 3, Bama 4, Oregon 5, Georgia 6. Did I miss anyone yet?
Georgia 6, 7 Ole Miss. 8 and 9, I'm going with 2 Big 12 schools. I'm going with BYU and because they're undefeated.
Bachmeier.
They should be in the field. And then Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I still got in there.
I like what's the kid's name? Baron what?
In strength of record right now. And then I'm trying to figure out who my group of 5 team is right now. I think it's USF, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, USF 12. So now I just got to figure out my 10, 11.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Yeah, this can be up for debate. All right, got to throw in Louisville.
At 10?
Louisville's at 11 as my ACC champ. But it's like, I'm at a point where it's like, at this point in the field, like, are Oklahoma or Vanderbilt deserving of being in? Texas?
None of those teams, no.
Are deserving. So it's like, I might just throw Louisville 10 and then go Georgia Tech at 11. But that could also very much go to Virginia at this point as well. So I got 2.
You don't have a 4th Big Ten team?
No, I do not. My next up would be Michigan, Illinois, or USC.
So you're putting
USC's loss to Notre Dame was tough.
Georgia Tech at 11. No,
no Notre Dame. All right.
I feel like that's 11, right?
Louisville 10, Notre Dame 11. There we go.
It does bother me, and I've had a ton of fun at the Notre Dame fans' expense, and I will continue to have fun at their expense for the year they've had. But they are they're as long as they don't slip up again, they're a playoff team. Like, they're as good as anybody in the country. They could beat anybody in the country. Like, they're just talented.
Yeah, they go to Pitt. They go to Pitt in 2 weeks. I'm curious about that one.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a good game, but again, like
Pitt is a quiet 7-2 right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Pitt's. I don't know. They're probably a better team than BC. You're probably right. Yeah, it probably is one to circle. But yeah, Notre Dame is like they're one of a very few teams in the country, and I know they gave up a shitload of points to A&M, but like they have 3 corners you can put out on the field and feel comfortable with. You know what I mean? Like, they have a legit pass rush. Like, they're well coached. Like, that's a good football program.
Yeah, and I'm switching out USF at 12 because they lost to Memphis. So Memphis is actually my 12 right now. So they control their own destiny. They do have a bad loss at UAB, but they should be in the driver's seat for the American title game because they have that win over USF. So they really just got to get through Tulane and Navy, both at home, which is nice for them. They do go to East Carolina, but they should take care of business there. Yeah, and Ohio State, if Indiana and Ohio State, to answer John's question, will Ohio State get a bye after we win the Big Ten? Regardless of result, if they're both undefeated going into that game, they'll both be top 4 seeds. No doubt in my mind.
I would concur with that. So, Brad, your 12 is Indiana 1, Ohio State 2, A&M 3, Bama 4, Oregon 5, Georgia 6, Ole Miss 7, BYU 8, Texas Tech 9, Louisville 10, Notre Dame 11, and Memphis 12.
Yeah, and that Louisville 10 could go to Virginia, Georgia Tech. They're all in the running there. They all really do control their own destiny, as far as I know. In terms,
it's a little early to like.
I don't know what the tiebreakers look like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Notre Dame, Memphis, rounding that out. I think it's good it's a good field. So like looking at it, we'd be looking at playing the winner of BYU Texas Tech in the Rose Bowl. Pretty sweet.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Pretty cool.
Although
that'd be fun.
It would be fun. It would be a lot of fun. All of it's gonna be fun. That's the thing is like Indiana football is now fun.
and then we'd be matching up with the winner of Bama Oregon.
Like Brandon, did you see Brandon Walker's tweet? Like he was like, "I'd give anything to be an Indiana football fan." It's like, yeah, anybody could have and probably still can be an Indiana football fan, but most people chose to and still choose to be assholes, including Brandon Walker. So, like, yeah, nobody was barred from this fan base except Heather Dinich for her own doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I digress. I don't have a closing thought for tonight, Brad. Do you have one?
Yeah, I think my closing thought was I think Indiana should and will be the number 1 ranked team in the country in the CFP tomorrow and on Tuesday. But yeah, we'll have a live reaction for that when that goes down. And like if they give it to Ohio State, like I don't know, I just question kind of what they're looking at and how they're going about it. It's an interesting way because like real talk, like strength of record number 1 right now is Texas A&M. So in my mind, it's like Indiana or an A&M 1. Ohio State's probably 2 or 3. And it really just depends on how you really see those teams. Eye test wise, it's Indiana, Ohio State, A&M for me.
I like it.
A&M's really fucking good though. That's a team that can make
very good. Yeah, my closing thought would be I'm excited to see which way the coaching carousel turns again, given all the jobs that keep opening up. It is a little surprising, and we'll get into it more on Tuesday, or unsurprising that 95% of like the good jobs opening up are all in the Southeast United States. It's kind of a funny coincidence how that happened. But yeah, I don't like Elko is not going to coach Penn State. I keep seeing that from people who are like think about that shit on like a more like a deeper level that that should not be a take from anybody. Mike Elko is not leaving Texas A&M, right? So like who's taking the Penn State job? Who's taking the LSU job, which looks like an absolute shit show right now? Like the Florida job, like low key, might honestly be the best one open right now.
I think you were asking me which job I'd rather take.
I know I said LSU and you said Florida, and I think you're right.
Because they have, I don't know, they've had enough losing to where I think expectations can be tempered.
Mm-hmm. They just need to see some semblance of success.
Yeah. And then B, it's in Florida. Love that. Love that if I'm a coach. Like, yeah, I get to go recruit in Miami all the time. Like, yeah, hell yeah.
Central Florida is not a bad place to find football players.
I mean, Louisiana produces a plenty amount of talent, and if you're a top 300 prospect in Louisiana, you go to LSU. That's how it goes. Like that's just how it is. But yeah, like obviously, love the purple and gold, like the Tigers, the aesthetic, just the classic uniforms, the 3 stripes on the shoulder pads, copying UCLA and doing those things. It's a cool environment, and coaching in Death Valley would be cool, but like coaching in the Swamp's pretty cool too. But yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of follow the carousel throughout the off season, and but I mean we'll be doing a lot of playoff coverage, so I don't know how much time we'll have for it, but it'll be a fun one. Yeah,
post the end of January when there's when we're done celebrating. We'll see. Yeah. But before then, we'll be back on Tuesday night. Obviously, we'll be live at the same time the college football rankings drop, college football playoff rankings. I'm falling asleep as I'm speaking these words, Brad. I'm staring at the NyQuil I'm about to take. Yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Break down the college football playoff rankings, talk about Penn State, obviously big time, well, not as much of a big time matchup as we thought it was going to be, but still the Tom Allen revenge game and all that good stuff. So you can follow us or please like, comment, share, subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. If you're watching on the Sigs Inside Twitter account, hop on over to YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at IndianaVOCFB. You can follow me at Alec Keyser. Follow Brad at Bradley_Loomis8. Yeah, shout out to the boys. Wave, Nick, Scroll, Signar, 1621 played us in. The beautiful sound of Butter Symphony is going to play us out. It's an awesome time to be an Indiana Hoosier fan. Groundhog's Day, like we referenced at the beginning of the show, is not necessarily a bad thing. And we're just going to win 55-10 every week. Sign me the fuck up. I'm in.
I'm cool. If it gives me a little less to talk about on a podcast, I can live.
Yeah,
I'll be fine.
Nothing to talk about, still rambled on for an hour, right, as they say. So we'll be back on Tuesday. We'll be talking Penn State. We'll be talking college football playoff rankings. We'll be talking Indiana Hoosiers football.
Tom Allen revenge game. I'm pretty sure he's at Clemson.
Yeah. We got to get revenge for the guy.
Oh, for him. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
Revenge for Tom Allen. Although
pretty sure he left on his own accord for Clemson. I don't know if they shoved him out.
It hasn't been great. I don't know. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.